Currently, when we play, the camera doesn't actually follow the player. So we can install a package called Cinemachine. The Cinemachine package is basically camera, but with a lot of control, with a lot of different controls. So click on Window, go to Package Manager, and search for Cinemachine. Now right here, click on Install and wait a bit for it to install. Now this remove button should show when it's installed. So right now it's installed. I'm just gonna right click in the hierarchy and go to Cinemachine and create a 2D camera. I'm gonna keep it the same name, and I'm gonna set the player. So in the CMV cam, I'm gonna set it has a follow and a look at. I'm just gonna set the follow to player. Right now, I'm gonna make the background a bit bigger. Just gonna call this background. So something like this. I'm gonna select the CMV cam, and I'm gonna open the body section. Now these are all the different settings for the Cinemachine component. So I'm gonna make it something like, so you can customize it however you want. Maybe change the soft zone a bit, maybe change the dead zone too. So I'm gonna set the dead zone to something like this. And I'm gonna decrease the soft zone a bit. So when the player moves inside the dead zone, the camera doesn't move at all. When the player moves inside the safe zone, it moves a little bit, and when it goes outside the safe zone, the camera starts following the player, and it starts following the player pretty fast. So we're actually gonna see that in a bit. Alright, so something like this looks pretty good, actually. Feel free to copy the settings if you want, but I encourage you to use your own settings. Now if we play, awesome. Now if I go left, it goes left with me. If I go right, it goes right with me. Actually, I can actually go wherever I want. And awesome, it works perfectly. Now there's also one more thing I forgot to add. I'm just gonna go to Assets, go to Create, and go to 2D, Physics Material 2D. I'm gonna call this Player. I'm gonna set the friction to 0 so the player doesn't stick to the wall when he collides with it. So I'm just gonna add it to player right here, and it's been added to the player's material, box collider 2D's material. So maybe you'll be asking, why did you add this? You actually want the player to wall jump and grab to objects. Yeah, I do, but sometimes, because I forgot to add this earlier on, when I collide with something that is not a ground layer, the player still sticks. So yeah, this basically just doesn't let our player stick to something that's not ground. Now if we play again, and you actually have more settings, so if you want to increase the Y and X damping, you can actually do that. But I'm just gonna decrease it, so to something like 0.7 maybe. Yeah, maybe something like 0.7 is pretty good. Or maybe I'm gonna keep it at 1. And I also edited the dash a bit because it was a bit too powerful. I just set the dash force to 2000 instead of 4000. And yeah, you can actually just test out these different settings and see what you like, but I'm just gonna keep it this way.